today, I searched the wide web of Reddit.
The wide web
of Reddit.
What? So weird.
The great big internet for some stories to read to Todd. So if you've ever seen podcasts where they do like Reddit stories and they're telling, I don't know if you don't really watch podcasts like that. I do. I think they're very entertaining when you read stories and then they give their take on it.
And
so
they're
like
all
hot takes.
And they're all from Reddit?
Yes.
Okay.
And Reddit's very good for that. People just go there for all sorts of advice. And so
there is everything on Reddit. So.
Yeah. So all the stories we're reading today is from r/PersonalFinance.
So this could be fun for me. So I'm not a Redditor at all. I'm never on Reddit.
Yeah. And you also haven't heard any of these. You're blind reacting to all of these. I got these.
Okay. So this is definite financial advice then that people are giving. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm excited to hear this. All right.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yep. Are you ready? Yes.
Okay. If I struggle through these, don't make fun of me in the comments because I can't read off of
no one would ever do
a laptop. I was the kid in second grade who could not read and would stumble over all their words. All right. Okay. First story. Titled, Husband Doesn't Believe We Are Broke. Okay.
I like this. I like where this is going already.
All right. And this is by Killer Pinata. All right. Husband doesn't believe.
Yes. I'm so happy about this.
Husband doesn't believe we are broke. My husband doesn't believe me when I say that we have no money. My current job doesn't pay great, but I work from home. Sorry, they misspelled. But I work from home and maintain the house. We make roughly the same. Our bills are just too much. We have too many credit cards, and he doesn't realize the amount that is put on each month, not including the interest. It's $15 here, $20 there, $60 for a video game, then $150 for food for us and our toddler. He wants a new toy and hobby each week, claiming it's just $25. What can I do? At this point, I'm pinching dimes and nickels for him, so it looks like I'm depriving him of his life, but we can't afford it. Edit. We make about $90K a year and live in California. Our mortgage is $4,600 and we pay $1,200 in daycare each month after paying bills. We have $300 left, not including the amount put on credit cards. We owe like $35K in credit card debt.
So I was just going to say after she said,
Yeah, probably.
So after she said Killer Pinata.
Okay, well, in their defense, Reddit makes these. Mine is like something ocean. Like it's.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you can change it. Yeah, no.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You probably can change it, but I don't know how to change it. They just like assign you something.
Like I said, not Redditor at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. So when she stated the mortgage payment and she said we make $90K a year, they're already in the red.
Yeah.
So she's not wrong.
The mortgage is $4,600 and they make $90K a year.
Yeah, so if you make $90K a year,
and they live in California,
I'm going to go ahead and assume that if she says $90K a year, that's probably not take home either. That's probably like whatever the salary is before taxes.
Yeah.
And if you're in California with state taxes and income taxes.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're already in the negative. Yeah. I'm surprised they even have the house.
Yeah. So it says, and we owe $35K in credit card debt.
Yeah.
Which is like almost half of it.
And that's going to be at 25%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely right. But this is a common one party knows what's going on with the finances and the other one doesn't.
And just
like, that's super
clueless.
That's super common. Yeah, because well, one, you get death by 1,000 cuts, right? So you have $10 payment here, $15 payment here, $35 thing here. When she said $150 for food, I didn't even think that was bad.
Actually. No, that's not bad. That's how much I pay more than that a month living by myself. Now, granted, I'm like a food snob, but like my groceries like $200 a month for myself.
Well, I assume that's what she meant going out to eat, not just like groceries in general. But I could be wrong there.
Yeah.
But okay, all right.
Okay.
Please tell me so now we get the comments.
Yeah, I'll read you the top comments. Okay. So the first one is unfortunately the moderator. So there's people who run the Reddit page, like the subreddits, and the moderator will intervene if things get out of control. So like if the story seems too fake, they'll take it down. They're like, you're just trolling people. This isn't real. They'll take it down. And if people are too mean. So it says due to the number of rule breaking comments this post has received, especially low quality and off topic comments, the moderation team has locked the post from future comments. This post broke no rules and received a number of helpful and on topic responses initially, but unfortunately it became the target of many unhelpful comments. People were super mean in the comment section. So the first comment.
People are mean on the internet?
Yes. The first comment, and this was 28 days ago. First comment
so this is recent.
Yeah. $35K in credit card debt means you're more than broke. You have a negative money. And that's got 42K upvotes, so 42K likes.
42,000 likes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the second one is your mortgage is way too high for 90K, like absurdly high. Doing the math, if you guys have no deductions, you are taking home at most 5.6K a month. Mortgage is 4.6K, daycare is $1,200. You guys start off every month in the negative. There's no way he will be in denial if you just show him the simple math. You guys can't even afford to pay the necessities, nonetheless have money for a hobby.
I agree with that person because this is coming down to, and this is super common, where just one party, one half of the relationship handles the finances and then the other half doesn't. And I don't even blame the other half because they're just totally blind to it.
Yeah.
I actually blame both parties because
Yeah.
they need to be able to communicate that. So many people like assign one person the financial responsibility, like, hey, I'm going to do the bills, I do the bills, and I do the financial maintenance and everything.
Yeah.
And it's completely not fair to that person.
No,
So
because
the other
they're the one that's always stressing about it if they like have less money.
Because they're aware of it.
Yes, they're more aware. They just carry the burden of it.
Yes.
It's the same thing as like it's been like a topic lately where they talk about household chores, and it's like, say we have split chores, but every month I still have to tell you to do your chores. I'm still carrying the mental load of it. So like I'm basically doing half of the chore because half the chore is making sure it gets done.
Yeah. So yeah, the person who's blind to it is unaware, and then the other person who is either assigned themselves or they both parties have agreed that the other person will do it. It's not fair to either party.
No.
But it's especially not fair to the person having to do the bills. So the person who is blind in this and the person who's unaware and person who is not participating in the financials needs to get on board with the person who is. Like you need to have, in my opinion, you need to have a weekly meeting about finances in your household.
Yeah.
It's just that it can literally be that simple. You just need to have one meeting per week, and it explains basically your family's P&L, profit and loss. So we spent this week, we made this week, and this is what the balance is.
Okay. Another comment. Realistically, you need to sell your house unless you both double your income. You can't afford it, and even then, it wouldn't be a ton of fun. What do you think about that one?
There's a lot of unknown factors there. So if they don't have any equity, it doesn't do anything. At least
Yeah.
they already have a house.
Yeah.
So I would rather focus on income. I also don't know what their savings looks like.
I'm going to assume
not very.
there's not.
I'm assuming none. Yeah, that's
We kind of
why
have to act under assumptions with these stories because
Yeah.
there's no way to really know. So
Right.
Okay, next comment says, sell your house, all exclamation points. Or all capitals, 5 exclamation points.
Selling the house doesn't always do anything, though. The
Yeah.
problem is you're treating a symptom and not the root.
Yeah.
So there's a very good chance, especially if one party is unaware, that this will happen again, just in a cheaper area or in a different scenario. So you have to solve the root of the problem. And the root of the problem here is communication between the two people.
Okay, and then they respond to a comment. It says, show in the statements, add it all up, compare it to your income. And then Killer Pinata says, I tried it and he just blocks it out. I could place a block on the credit cards, ? I'm afraid it will end up with overdraft fees.
So, yeah, of course you can. I mean, you can close your account. Yeah, I mean, you have options with the credit cards. But again, this goes back to the root of if you're showing him the balance in this scenario and he just blocks it out, it is due to a mental and internal problem.
Yeah.
It is an identity issue.
Which
at
and
that
then
point.
that leads to the next comment. The last one I was going to read
It is
you
a fear.
was, it says in all caps, why do people marry people like this?
They don't necessarily start off like that.
Yeah. And I also yes, finances are super important. You should have those conversations, but
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like those financial discussions don't happen between most couples before they get married or even while they're married, as we
Yeah.
can see.
yeah.
So that's not something that's taught. So you can't even blame the people up front about not having the conversation about finances because most people don't even know.
Yeah.
It's not even a topic that's on the board.
So what's your final word of advice for them?
Final word of advice for Killer Pinata. What I would do in this scenario is obviously, again, continue sitting down and communicating, but making sure that we're solving the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is that there's an identity issue somewhere that money is shameful. So just talk about, hey, there's no shame in this. We just need to be organized on this. That way we can be better in the future. So how can we do that together? That's the question to ask.
And you don't think they've dug themselves too deep. You think they're going to get out of this?
$35K credit card debt's nothing.
Okay.
It's not like you could if you're organized and understand finances and you can focus on your income, you can have $35K of credit card paid off in 90 to 180 days.
Okay.
Like depending on your other assets, again, assuming some things, assuming maybe there's some savings, assuming like there is income, but it goes to the wrong spot, that kind of deal. Like understanding how to pay yourself first and get it organized. You can pay off $35K in credit card debt without changing much of your lifestyle in 6 months. And I only know that from one, doing it.
Oh yeah, I kind
But
of forgot
two-
you lived through.
But two,
Yeah.
working with literally hundreds of people that I've helped do it.
I feel like more often than not, people who come to you have credit card debt.
Oh, almost every time.
Yeah.
That's why $35K is like nothing.
Yeah.
I'm used to working with people that have 75 to 100.
Yeah.
I'm used to having one card with 35 on it, and then there's 8 more cards behind it.
Yeah.
Which is just, and again, there's no shame behind it. We're not taught this stuff. So this is how you learn.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal. If you've got credit card debt, it's fine. You just got to put a plan behind it. That's it. There's no shame in it.
Are you ready for story number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a good start.
I didn't read the admin of this post. The poster, their username is Big Pinky Toe 6.
You're right. That must be a sign to them. Yeah.
Okay. Titled, I just turned 19 and I got offered a job making $30 an hour. It will be my first real job. What do I do with the money? How do I start my adult life?
That's more than I ever made with the job. And he's 19.
Yeah. All right. So the post says,
Or I guess he or she's 19. I
Yeah,
guess
we
I
don't
can't
really know
tell
here.
who it is.
I think because they call themselves Pinky Toe, it's probably a he, but
Yeah, that's a great question.
because they're 19, you know, the guy's brains develop slower. So.
Oh my gosh. She looks over at her 19-year-old boyfriend producing for us right now.
He is 19. Our producer.
Are
Nolan
you
over there.
little Pinky Toe? What's the name?
Is that you?
Is that Pinky Toe?
Are you Big Pinky Toe?
You're Big Pinky Toe?
Okay.
Yeah, he said yeah.
Okay. I need to know what to start doing with this massive influx in income. The employer matches 5% 401k, so I'll probably put in like 10%. I have no idea what to do. I'm just a youngin'. Do I need an IRA? What's an IRA? I'm lost! Exclamation point. I need guidance. I live in a small town in South Texas. Living costs are around $700 to $1,200 for apartments. I want to get a spot with my girlfriend. This is very, very poorly structured. I just need a man with a plan. I know one of you Reddit experts could cobble something together for me. Thank you in advance.
First of all, I love that they're asking questions. They're asking great questions.
Yeah, they are.
They really
and they're
are.
not afraid to do it. They're not embarrassed by the questions.
Yeah, I'm actually proud of this person because they're asking really, really good questions. Should I here's some details of a 401k, which I've heard of. I don't really know what it is, but here's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And what if I applied 10% of it to it, trying to overfund it? So all that's good. I like all this actually.
Big Pinky Toe, if you're watching this right now, if that's you, go on our channel and go watch 401k is the devil.
Yeah. Not that I support the 401k. That being said, I do
But
like that
questions
you're
are
asking.
important. How
I
do you
like that
know?
you're asking questions though. Yeah, exactly.
Because the whole point of that episode was that nobody tells you about a 401k. You're just supposed to have it.
Exactly. I can
So-
only imagine that the comments are definitely fund that.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel? What would you tell him? What's your advice to him? He said he needs a man with a plan. Are you the man with the plan?
So what you should do, if you happen to be 19 and watching this and listening to me and going, all right, what should I do? I'm about to make more money than I've ever made in my life. The first thing you should do is invest in yourself and learn everything that you possibly can about money before you make any decisions whatsoever on where to put any of it.
Okay.
Because you can put it in your pocket. Everyone's afraid to put money in their pocket for some reason. Put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Keep all 50K of it your first year, whatever you net, right? 40K. If it's $30 an hour, what is that? 60 a year, or right around 60, 70 a year?
Yeah.
So if you net 40, why don't you keep it in your pocket?
Pay yourself
There's
first.
nothing wrong with paying yourself first and having it be liquid and giving yourself time, and everyone's gonna be inflation and this and it's not going to work. Who cares? It's fine. You're learning about money. You have to give yourself time to learn about money. You don't need to be in a rush. So I really like that they're asking questions. I really like that they're open. But my advice for anybody that's especially young, first time making money, you don't know what to do, take 6 to 12 months and learn absolutely everything that you can about money, because what's going to happen is you're going to learn what resonates with you and what doesn't agree with you, and then you can actually build an investment life that makes sense and actually fits your life versus just listening to someone else and going, oh, I'm going to do this because so-and-so said to do that, even though I don't really understand it.
The top commenter on Reddit told me to do this, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just learn about money every possible way you can. Read 10 books over the course of the next year all about money. check out forums, watch podcasts, learn from people that are clearly in a stage of life and finances that you aspire to be at. Like, that's what you should be doing.
Okay. This was 16 hours ago. So there's not a whole lot of comments. Actually, yeah, there is. But top comment says, get a checking account, which I feel like if you have a job, you probably already have a
You'd be
checking account.
amazed how many people
Okay.
don't have checking accounts. So that's fine. Okay,
Yeah.
get a checking account.
Get a
Okay.
checking account, create a budget, start with rent, food, gas, other recurring bills, plan for future expenses, oil changes, tires, car replacement, save for whatever is next for you, college, trade, etc., etc. Stay the F away from debt, period.
Stay the F away from debt. Okay,
Yes.
so what's interesting in those comments is they almost said forecast.
They almost
They
did
are
it, but they had
so-
to put budget first.
They were so close to saying forecast money going out, which is really cool because that's really good. Like if you can forecast, they were forecasting expenses, but if they would have just said forecast an investment
yeah.
and forecast an investment in yourself, it's life changing. So even if that investment in yourself is 10 books in a year, like I mentioned a minute ago, or a course or some sort of training or a seminar, anything to put you in a different circle, that way people are talking about money and thinking about it differently, and you're putting yourself in that group, that's what's going to change your life. So yeah, definitely learning about money over the next 6 to 12 months for sure. I didn't hate those comments. They were so close to saying forecast an investment, but instead they just forecasted expenses.
Yeah. Somebody replied to that comment and said, did he mention to stay away from debt? Resist the urge to lifestyle creep. Yeah, you can afford a bigger car now, but what for? For a few more years and dividends will pay for your bling bling. So
I like it. Who knew Reddit had such good financial advice?
I know. And then someone commented, bruh, what job did you get? Everywhere near me pays like 11 to 12 for
Then
office.
it's immediately like, I'm jealous. I want money.
Everywhere around me pays like 11 to 12 an hour for office, and some go up to 20 if you're lucky. Be responsible, set up good investments, and don't spend more than you already do. It's a quick trap into not having money. And he said, I got an associate's degree for free. I started a year before I graduated high school. I got super lucky and was offered a job at a plant on the port of Texas. So
In my opinion, that's not lucky, but if they want to count that to luck, that's fine.
yeah. Yeah.
I did all of this upfront work and made all these commitments and then got lucky.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I think it would be lucky if you didn't do any of the upfront work and then got it.
Okay. I think those are all like the main comments. So I feel like you gave pretty good advice to him.
Yeah, I feel like that was a pretty decent
good one.
thread.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty decent. That was, hey, don't have lifestyle creep, which I really like. I like that term of lifestyle creep. If you don't know what lifestyle creep, it's basically it's really a symptom of Parkinson's law, which is you will spend the resources that are in front of you. So whether that be time, money, like utility, whatever. So it's really a symptom of that because it's really like, oh, I have more money, so I'm going to spend more on my life. So lifestyle creep, like you just raise your responsibility as you earn more, then
And
your
it's
life
like,
kind of stays the same.
Yeah, it's like above your awareness too. Like you don't realize you're doing it. You make more money and subconsciously you're spending more money.
Exactly, because you have more available to you. So I thought that thread was pretty decent. I thought that was pretty good.
Okay.
That's actually a breath of fresh air right there. That was nice. It was nice to see that or hear that.
Yeah. So this one's a little tougher. It's a little more like serious. We've talked about this a few times. Kind of sad. So hopefully you'll have some good advice for them. This was one day ago, and it was by JT86.
So these are super recent.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I didn't realize how active this was.
No, this
So I gotta get in
subreddit.
So I gotta get on Reddit and hang out. Then?
No, because you will be commenting all day long. This subreddit gets 60 to 80 posts every 24 hours. Like 60 to 80 news stories and comments. People are super active though. Like this one has 150 comments under it.
What do people do all day long? How do people have time to do this?
This is like their free time. This is like your YouTube time is their Reddit time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Title is Mother-in-Law has just realized she will never be able to retire. Is it too late for her or is there some hope? Okay. Visiting the mother-in-law, 61, today, and she was all excited that she'll be able to apply for retirement benefits in November. While I was there, I looked up some information, and it seems that she'll only get $680 a month and would only be able to earn up to $17,000 a year, and then Social Security will start dropping that amount. That's SS, right? Social Security?
Yeah.
Okay.
The actual biggest scam in U.S. history. It is an actual Ponzi scheme.
Okay.
It is an actual Ponzi scheme.
I have no idea what Social Security is.
I won't go into it right now.
Okay, you can tell me later.
It's a joke, though.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay. She earns $14.80 to $17 an hour, depending on what type of work she's doing at her place of employment. But essentially, her biweekly paycheck comes in around $1,400 net.
I was supposed to say, she's going to make 35 grand a year on that. 35 to 40, yeah.
She lives paycheck to paycheck, so the idea that she would be able to live with anything less than this is impossible. She did look into Section 8, however. They base what you pay at 30% of your income, which is about what she's already paying for her apartment. She's massively in debt, somewhere between 20 and 40K. Half is medical, and the rest is a car loan and credit cards. She applied for bankruptcy, which she expects to take care of everything but her car loan, 13K left at 4.7%. Got all that?
Yep.
So it was a little longer.
Yep. No, I got it.
She thought about selling the car and buying something cheaper, but I'm pretty sure that what's left on the loan is more than what the car is worth, so she'd still owe and not have anything to buy a new car. It also seems pointless to me because a 3K to 5K car is going to break down at some point and she'll have no money to fix it. She must have a reliable car for her job, as it's not on a bus route, and she's also obese and poor in health. The plan I have set out for her is to take $250 of every paycheck and put it into a Roth IRA. That would max it out every year. Doing this would mean by the time she reaches 67, she'll be able to take a full retirement benefits in SSI.
Social Security income?
Oh, okay. In SSI of $1,250. And we'll have oh my gosh, I almost said we'll have oh my goodness.
We got it, everybody. We got it. If it happened, everybody was waiting. Everyone's like, Aisley's reading really well right now.
Some words don't read and sound the same, okay? All right. Doing this would mean by the time she reaches 67, she will be able to take full retirement benefits in SSI of $1,250 and will have contributed $33,000 to a Roth IRA, which would hopefully be around $45K by the time she would need to draw from it. She might not be able to fully retire at 67, but maybe at least cut back on working 50-hour weeks. Thoughts?
So that's a tough spot. So that is the reality for a lot of people because financial literacy wasn't taught. So she would be you're Gen Z or X?
Gen Z.
You're Gen Z. So
you're millennial. You're skipping millennial. That's in between X and Z.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're a millennial.
Whatever she is, that'd be X, whatever it is. Like they're actually
probably Gen X.
Yeah, they're actually the first generation statistically proven to be poorer than the generation before them.
Oh, wow.
And the reason for that, in my opinion, is because they listened blindly to what was supposed to happen or what they were supposed to do. So like it was always you put your money here and you put your money here and you don't it wasn't skill based, it wasn't knowledge based, it wasn't we're going to increase our financial literacy and create more opportunity. It was you're going to give us your money.
You're going to follow this path.
We're going to follow this path and we'll grow it for you, and it just didn't work. So for every millionaire that there is with a 401k, there's 100,000 people that have less than 40 grand and they just can't retire. So. And that's why Social Security, in my opinion, is a giant Ponzi scheme because people are going to need to take more and more and more of it. You're not going to be able to keep by putting more into it, right? So in her situation, so what he wants to do is to have her work another 6 years, put money into a Roth IRA, and the benefit of the Roth IRA is that it grows tax-free, not tax-deferred. So I do like the Roth better because you're paying with tax dollars up front. You're taxed on the seed, not the harvest. I do like that. The problem is, again, there's another root problem here that's being ignored. The obese and in bad health, like that little bit of money is not going to be able to keep up with medical bills either.
Yeah, especially as she gets older.
Yeah, there is a root problem that needs solved here, and that is internally. That's where people miss on finance and their future so much. They're ignoring their health, they're ignoring their wealth, they're ignoring like the internal emotions that they have around money, the internal relationship that they have with money and themselves. So I love his plan of like, hey, in 6 years, I might be able to get her 30 or 40 grand. But if you do the math on 6 years of inflation and debt and the other expenses that you can forecast in that person due to their health situation, there's not going to be much there left.
So you think in the plan should be something health-wise too, like a health plan?
For sure, without
so in those
question.
6 years, it's not just working, it's not putting money away, it's also working on yourself and your health so that you can afford.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And if you're working on yourself and your health at that point, you're gonna go further anyways.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be able to create longer. Most people want to get to this retirement, right? There's this fig mental idea that retirement you just quit. So you don't actually want to retire. Retirement's you're put out to pasture. You're done. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to be done. You want to be able to work on something that fuels you forever. Like you want to be involved and be
You
of
don't want to
value
retire
forever.
and then just sit on the couch for the rest of your life. Like,
Well, statistically, if you look, I mean, there's different information depending on where you look and do your research, but there's a reason people die after they retire, like within just a few years. It's because they stop.
yeah.
If you stop, you stop.
Yeah.
So that's a tough situation and an unfortunate truth for a lot of people. To me, the health and the obesity in that situation is more important, is a bigger deal than the money. And if they get that figured out, they'll actually have a better money situation because it'll become part of it. People don't realize, like, money is connected to everything that you do.
Yeah.
Like, if you're taking care of yourself, you're typically going to have more money around you. You're going to have more opportunity. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more opportunity to work. You're going to have more opportunity to create. You're going to be able to have income come to you for a longer period of time because you're able to feel better. You're able to work longer.
Yeah.
You're
And
able
it's
to
a
be more
compounding
productive.
habit.
It's
Yeah.
a compound effect.
Yeah.
Yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
You'll start the one, you'll start your health, and you'll be like, oh, I can improve here and here. And it's kind of addicting when you start realizing that you can change your life in a positive way.
And here's the other problem too. That he said that he would have her put the $250 a week away in the Roth IRA, right?
Yeah.
She's already living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, that was my next question is I don't know where she's going to get the 250. I think maybe he's thinking about adding like she's going to work more.
See, now that is treating a symptom and not the root. So
Yeah.
what's the root of that? The root of that, I've never learned how to pay myself in my life.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to look at their finances and go, where is this money going right off the bat when you get it?
I want to know why she's living paycheck to paycheck. 'Cause she's working 50-hour weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the money, I understand that like it's living is expensive, but some of that's got to be going somewhere.
That's when you end up needing more information. But yeah, there's a root problem there that's actually not being looked at yet.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so the top comment says it's got 730 upvotes. It says, delay Social Security until 70. Keep working until Social Security plus 4% rule equals her yearly expenses. Taking Social Security at 62 would basically guarantee never being able to retire. Horrible idea.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Next one says, the really harsh reality is that no, your mother-in-law is never going to be able to retire. She needs to delay taking her Social Security benefits and continue working for as long as she is physically able. Each year after 62, you get an 8% increase, which, according to my math, would put her at $1,000 per month at age 67. If she delays retirement until 70, she will then be collecting $1,258 per month, plus COL adjustments.
See, that guy, so me and him actually agree,
Yeah.
but he just forgot to say the root. The root is work as long as you're physically able.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to be able to work longer if you are obese or if you're in better shape and you take care of yourself?
So that's where he goes next. He says, however, from what you say, it seems like she may not be physically capable of working that long. And if she is living paycheck to paycheck, it seems unlikely that she can spare $250 a month. If she could save any money, the time scale is too short for dollar cost averaging to make sense. A HYSA?
HYSA?
Yeah, is the best she can hope for in terms of return. But again, the timeline is too short for it to matter significantly. I think you and your partner need to have some very honest and very hard conversations with each other about if your partner is expecting the two of you to somehow help or care for their mother.
Does she have an apartment or a house? Did it say in that?
I think it's an apartment.
That's unfortunate. I was about to say, maybe there's some equity in something that you could use. You know, there's options at that
She's
point.
looking into Section 8 right now, so I'm going to say
Probably
that
renting.
she's renting. Yeah. Because absent other family members who can help, that seems to be the most likely scenario. Or just, yeah. So they're saying, like, have a conversation about what you two are going to plan to do about this. But I agree. They basically just said what you said.
Unfortunate reality for a lot of people right there.
Yeah.
She's not alone, or they're not alone, for sure.
Okay, so you think the Roth IRA is a good idea?
By the way, let's say this woman in this scenario had $100,000 saved up. It's still not enough.
Yeah.
That's still 3 years.
Yeah.
The financial literacy is so low right now, and like good financial practices are so low right now that everyone's at the mercy of the government and who's supplying their aid.
We also brushed over the fact that she's 20 to 40K in debt, and half is medical, and the other half is the car loan.
Right.
And it says she applied for bankruptcy, which she expects to take care of everything but the car loan.
Yeah, which it probably will.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're half of your debt is already medical, you need to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a root problem
you're
here.
right on top of it.
There's a root problem here that is being ignored. Everyone glazes over the root and goes like straight to the first symptom that they can solve. Like, don't solve a symptom.
Yeah.
Solve the root that's causing the symptom.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying she needs to work on her health.
Yep.
And then
learn how to pay herself first.
Pay herself first so that she can do the Roth IRA.
And by the way, this kind of goes back to what we talked about before. Like, she's already going through bankruptcy. Does she need a credit score? Is she going to get a loan on something?
No.
Then why is she paying that instead of herself? Like, what's the point? And I'm legitimately asking, what is the point? Like, if she's got credit cards, medical bills, and all that, why pay them?
Yeah.
What is it actually doing at that point? Because you're about to go through bankruptcy anyways.
And
so
she doesn't plan on getting any more debt. She's 61. She wants to live Section 8.
Yeah.
She can't she has a car. She has a car payment, so she has a newer car.
Yeah.
So
well, not necessarily a newer car, but she has a car payment.
Okay, she has like a $20,000.
It could be it could be anything.
Okay.
It could have been a $15,000 car.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready to move on?
But yeah, I don't actually see. I know people like always. This is always the discussion back and forth. Is like, you got to protect your credit. Why?
Yeah.
What is that? Why is that a number that represents something that you don't understand matter more than your financial health in your own life?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. So yeah, solve the root problem in that one. Learn how to pay yourself first. And if the only way paying yourself first, and you're going through bankruptcy anyways, is to take from that, I mean, take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Ground up.
Okay. The next one.
In my opinion.
Yeah. It's
in my
by
opinion.
everything's
in my
your
opinion.
It's in his opinion.
This is definite financial advice.
Before we started this episode, I was like, Todd, you need to do some sort of disclaimer about financial advice. And he's like, oh no, I'm giving financial advice.
No, I'm giving financial advice. Yeah. Reddit is.
Yeah.
Reddit is. I'm just giving you I'm giving you my opinion and my experience of like the way that I got out of things, right?
Yeah.
The way that I've saved myself, the way that others have, and what I've seen work a lot. And when I have someone usually comment back and say that I'm ridiculous or dumb or whatever it is, I think it's funny that those people never work with other people.
Yeah.
They never go like, that would never work. How many people have you worked with in the past 10 years?
How many people have come to you for advice?
Yeah.
How many people have you brought out of this position?
Yeah, because I have literal thousands of case studies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yours is backed. It's proven. It's backed by actual experiences.
I'm going off of literally thousands of people's feedback.
Yeah.
And direct results.
Statistically, it's working.
Statistically, extremely well. Extraordinarily well.
Okay. This one is by Dying for Food. This guy made his. It was 14 hours ago. Okay. This one's kind of numbery, but I figured you could probably help with this one. Family of 3 on a single income needing help with a budget. Okay.
All right.
Hello, everyone. I am in a bit of a predicament. I recently got a higher paying job that allowed my family and I to finally move out. I went from making 14 an hour to 26. I have insurance for my whole family, and my budget is as follows. Are you ready?
I am ready. So 14 and 26, so he's making 50 grand a year.
Yes. Take home $3,300 a month.
Yep. So after taxes, 36 grand. That's right. Line.
Yes.
So 50 grand a year, 14 in taxes, 36 available.
Yes. Rent $1,420 a month. Phone $150. Internet $50. Car insurance $150. Food between $400 and $500 depending on sales. Car payment $256. They owe $3,000 more on the car payment. Mm-hmm. Credit card payments $250. Payment across 4 cards. Gas for car $150 to $200 depending on gas prices. Gas between $25 and $35. I don't know what that means. The gas payment for their house. Sorry, yeah. I'm dumb. I'm not dumb. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Sorry, 25 and 35.
Everybody put in the comments, yell at her.
Electric average before summer was $77, but now it's about $210 due to running AC. Netflix $20, Amazon $15. Okay, got all that. Some of that was like not super. Yeah. The main idea.
So they're break even every month. They're paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. The main idea was putting away the rest that is left over into savings.
See, that's the problem
Yeah.
right there. We're putting everything that's left
Instead of
in
forecasting.
savings, which is nothing. Nothing's left. You have to do the saving first.
Yeah.
You have to spend after you save.
Yeah. But some weeks we are a bit close. We mainly shop Aldi, and the Netflix is our main source of entertainment. We rarely go out, and if we do, it's barely a $100 date. My wife has credit card debt of about $2,000, and I have $1,000. My main question is, should we focus on paying off her debt, but with foregoing savings, or should we put a portion of what is left at the end of the month to further credit card payments? I am the sole income earner, and I sometimes supplement with donating plasma, but it isn't consistent. Any help and advice would be appreciated. I mainly focus on savings and having a nest egg. Due to previous job and spending all of our money on our child, we have no savings. Apologies if things are not formatted correctly.
Okay. That's a pretty good layout. That's someone who's organized and trying. I like that too.
Yeah. And it's hard to come to the internet and be open about your because people don't like to talk about money.
People don't like talking about. I didn't know this was a thing. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm
so
like
it's hard to
excited
come to the internet
that.
and ask for help.
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
figured you would. As soon as this came into my head, I was like, Todd's gonna eat this up. He loves having these conversations.
This is kind of sick. Yeah, I kind of like this. All right, so if you notice a pattern here, whenever you're reading this to me, I'm like searching for a root problem.
Yeah.
Right. So there's two problems that I see in this. One is not understanding how to pay self first, which is principle number one, which so few people know how to do. So they have to save before they spend.
Yeah.
Even if it's small, especially in the beginning, even if it's like, I'm gonna put $100 away this month,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna do this first in a separate account that's away from me, and make sure that this is done, and then I'm gonna have
$50 every 2 weeks, one less date night a month, because they say they spend $100 if they go out.
Yeah, or like, what's funny is you won't even have to get rid of anything.
Yeah.
It's just the money will actually go. It'll leave you before the end of the month.
Yeah, and then you'll realize that you still have the money for whatever you're going to do.
Because it's there and available. So you want to actually have to change anything in your life to put away $100. You just have to do it first instead of last. I know that sounds ridiculous, but try it.
As soon as you get paid, get rid of the money.
And I promise you're going to be like, I don't know why that worked. But trust me, it works. So get the money away from you right away. So in their case, get the first $100 away if he's trying to save a little bit. That's the first root problem. The second root problem is they just have to focus on skill sets and creating more. Like there are times when people are like, and that's the root of the question here is how should I budget this $3,000 a month that I'm getting?
Yeah.
Like take home. Like instead of focusing on how to budget this $3,000, why aren't we asking the question, how do we make this 6? How do we make it 8? How do we make it 10? How do we make it 12? How do we make it 14 a month?
Yeah.
Instead of 3. Instead, it almost like you can even hear it in the typing, like in the message of we went from 14 to 26, and it was like almost like I've made it.
Yeah.
Did you get that feeling?
I did
like
get that
I've
feeling.
made it. I doubled my income.
Yeah.
But like it has to actually be usable, and I know this doesn't feel good to necessarily hear, but you have to be able to go from 1,500 what he would have been at first, 1,500 to $3,000. You got to be asking yourself, how do I get this to 6? How do I get it to 9? Instead of just budgeting, how do I forecast out and make sure that this money, or how do I make sure that my skill set can create something even twice this and twice that?
Well, I'm wondering, because this is a single income family, so the wife doesn't work. I'm wondering if there's a skill set that she could develop or use.
I'm sure of it.
Because if he's working, I'm not saying that she has to work, but there's probably another way that they could generate some income that they're not realizing.
Absolutely. And the other piece to that too, let's say there was just something that would make $5,000 a half, right?
Yeah.
So every 6 months makes an extra $5,000. That's all savings.
Yeah.
That's more than the $100 would be.
Right.
So everything at that point becomes profit and goes straight to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm saying you got to focus on income still. Like we're not focused on
how can you make more, not cut back. Don't try to
Exactly.
budget. I mean, obviously, don't go spending more money than you need to.
Yeah, you're not going to go buy a new car. But if you're asking that question already, like you're already conscious of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, to me, the root problem there is don't know how to pay yourself first, which is becoming a common theme. And then the second one really being like, we need to focus on creating extra income or more income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then top comment. This is a really small post. It didn't go very far. It's only got 11 comments.
It's probably because it was so well organized.
Yeah, and there's 0 upvotes. So Top comment is, if you only have one kid, both of you should work. This might mean your spouse picking up weekends and or nights. You should erase all credit card debt and allocate an emergency fund. Moreover, your budget doesn't make sense. What about clothes, baby formula, etc.? Are you saving anything towards retirement? Are you working 40 hours? If so, you should also pick up extra hours at another job. You spending all this income is not sustainable due to high cost of living. Good luck and congrats on your promotion. You can do it. And then he replied to that and said, my wife had a disability that doesn't allow her to work. We have been trying to find any sort of remote job for her with no luck. Our son is turning 3, so thankfully he eats what we eat. My wife and I don't spend any money on clothes, and our son thankfully gets a lot of gifts from family. I had an Acorn account. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Acorn's where essentially like you have your debit card on it, right? And let's say you spend you go get something for $10 and the bill comes to like, $10.31 or whatever.
Yeah.
That app will round it up to the $11 and it'll invest that 60-70 cents.
That's a cool idea.
So it stacks up. It's kind of a cool app.
I never heard of that. Okay. I had an Acorn account with a Roth IRA that I was contributing to, but I had to stop due to rent. Our high COL, cost of living, I knew that one. Our high cost of living.
They don't have a high cost of living though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Is everywhere in Southern California. So finding a cheaper place to live isn't really an option.
Yeah.
Any comments on all that?
Create income.
Yeah.
To that other guy's point. Okay, so she has a disability, so she's not going to bring any income. That's fine.
Well, he said that she can work from home.
You have to... Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
they're looking for a job for her to work from home. They just haven't found one.
Yeah.
So she can work from home.
See, this goes back to the root of skill set based.
Yeah.
Like work on your skill set. Get better at whatever that is that you're doing. That way you get paid more.
Look further. Find something that she can learn to do from home. There's something out
And if
there.
it's remote, she doesn't have to work in the state.
Yeah, exactly. That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something out there.
Yep, I would stay income focused on that one. I don't think he really has a budgeting problem. I don't think he has an expense problem.
Yeah, no,
I know the one comment mentioned like the credit card debt.
So do you think they should
It's
pay
just
that
not.
first?
It's just not. The numbers aren't large enough on the debt to really cause a problem.
Yeah, they only have
Three
combined
grand between the two of them.
Yeah,
like, it's nothing
compared to what the stories we
just
just read.
Your minimum payment's probably $70 or $100.
It says $250.
Yeah, like
they're probably paying more than.
Yeah, and not only that, it's just not enough to affect your life.
Yeah.
Even if you paid those off, all right.
Yeah.
$250, but if you're not understanding the root of how to pay yourself first, that $250 is going to go. It's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it would be nice if we had that, but you can start paying yourself first before you can worry about that stuff.
Yeah. So our 2 pieces of advice for this: 1, if your wife is open to working and working from home, skill set. Focus on developing.
Both of them.
Yeah, they both should be skill sets, but like her for sure, because they said that she's looking for a job, so she needs to find a skill set.
Yeah.
And 2, pay yourself first. So get that money out at the beginning of the month before you spend it. It's not what's left; it's what
every check that comes in first. Ideally, the first 10% at minimum goes to you. Next
story is by Throwaway Super. So it's a throwaway account.
Oh, okay.
So it's just an account that is like anonymous. 23 hours ago. I'm trying to get serious about money. Is my monthly spending reasonable? So
he lists my DoorDash.
Yes, this is your DoorDash. Okay. Hey guys. So for some context, I'm 24 years old. I live in the big city. Sorry, I was like, what do you mean?
Big city, baby.
It says I live in a big city.
The big city.
Think San Francisco, LA, New York City.
I was just going to say, what would the big city be?
Yeah. So it just says think San Francisco, LA, New York City. So I guess they just don't want people to know it all.
Yeah. All right. All right.
And I have a job that pays about $4,800 post-tax.
Okay. So $60,000 a year. Just take home.
It's so funny that you could just do that off the top of your head. I
Simple
can't
math. Yes.
Yeah. I hate you. Okay.
Anything times 12. I wish it was just 10.
Living in a big city, I've always had the idea that living month to month, paycheck to paycheck was pretty reasonable. After all, we're young and want to have fun, right? He's 24.
Self-pay.
Self-pay
route.
Well, recently decided that I should stop acting like a kid and I want to start getting serious about my life. To this end, I've taken a look at my spending habits, which typically look something like rent, $2,400. Other bills, $350. Groceries, $200 to $250. Transport costs and Ubers, $220 to $300. Drinking and dining out, $300 to $600. Entertainment and subscriptions, $60 to $100. That's basically my spending for just the necessities, in quotes, used subjectively here. I used to have about...
Was the necessities drinking right there? That was
Yeah.
$300 to $600 in necessity?
Okay,
Well,
so
obviously
he's-
that goes to self-pay. That's gone, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually have about $800 to $1,000 per month left over after all of this.
Nice.
And I still do like to shop, buy things for my apartment, etc. After which I usually end up at zero.
Yep. The Parkinson's law. There we go. See, root self-pay.
Yeah.
He could be at $1,500 to $2,000 a month self-pay right now.
Yeah.
He could have a down payment for a property.
Well, it doesn't
in
say
a
he
year.
or she. This might be a girl.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
Not
that
sure.
was anonymous. My bad.
It says buy things for my apartment, so I'm thinking maybe it could be a girl.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
like,
No,
decor
that's cool.
and stuff.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
but
sense.
we
All
don't
right.
know, so just they.
I gender assume.
Yeah, we do. After which I usually end up at zero. I also don't have health insurance, but I want to get it through work when possible. And I want to start saving up for a rainy day fund / retirement. So that's something to factor into things too. Overall, what do you think? Is my spending reasonable, or do you think I'm doing too much? Well, I think that they answered their own question, because they
Yeah,
said
they really
I
did.
end up at zero.
Yeah. So
How do you go? I'm not saying how, but you go from $800 to $1,000 and then you end up at zero. So you spend an extra $1,000 every month.
again, that's root of self-pay.
Yeah.
See, so the financial principles in order: pay yourself first. Financial principle number one. Financial principle. I should just quiz you on this. I should be having you tell me.
You should
So financial principle number two is
get debt on a plan.
get debt on a plan. Very good. And then principle number three, which is really that they're starting to have a self-pay. Like they've done 1 and 2. So then they have the opportunity of principle number 3, which is understand true value.
Yeah.
That's where their money is going to work for them.
Yeah. So the top comment, I'm just going to read you this because I think this is where you're going. If you aren't saving a penny of that, no, your spending is not reasonable. Personally, I would say that at least half of what you have left over needs to land in a HYSA. I'm going to go with something savings account.
Well, yeah, they're high yield savings
Okay,
account.
yeah.
But
And then cut back on your entertainment spending a bit. Keep it toward the low end. Half of your take-home pay is gone just from rent, so you have to live a little frugally with the rest.
yeah. But a piece of that's just like they talked about big city. Can you live outside the big city for a 20-minute drive and then rent's cut in
Yeah.
half? Like, is that possible?
And if that's not something that you want to do, because it sounds like they don't have a car because it says transport and Ubers. If that's not something you want to do, and if you like the area you live in, then you have to cut back. Like, you're just gonna have to.
But again, those are all symptoms. Again,
Yeah.
what is the actual root here?
They're not paying themselves first.
They're not paying themselves first.
Yeah.
That's actually their whole issue. That could be solved in one sentence. Pay
If
yourself
you
first.
have $800 to $1,000 left, they have the commenter said half of that. Even if it's not half of that, even if it's $300 a month that you put into saving,
Something.
that's way more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think that they're being a little unreasonable.
And the other thing too is when you do practice, paying yourself first initially, it's exciting. So you end up paying yourself more than even what you expect. You're like, oh, I'm just going to get 10% in there. Then you do it a few times. And you're like, I really like seeing that account grow. I'm going to put 40% in there this month.
Yeah.
And, you get aggressive with it. So.
Yeah. Okay, so somebody said, living in a big city, I've always had the idea that living month to month, paycheck to paycheck was pretty reasonable. After all, we're young and want to have fun, right? So that's what he said.
Yeah.
They responded to that part and said, nope, not reasonable. It is possible to be young, have fun, and manage your money responsibly. They said, overall, what do you think? And he said, you are exceptionally lucky that this behavior hasn't already landed you in debt. One illness or other emergency could completely sink your finances. Make a budget. It needs to include monthly savings for non-monthly costs. That means purchasing health insurance and setting aside money for copays and deductibles, saving an emergency fund to have if you lose your job or an urgent expense comes up, contributing to a retirement fund, and also saving for other goals you have as personal priorities. You're going to find you don't make enough money to support the lifestyle you've chosen. You can solve that by increasing your income.
Yeah, there we go.
Or making expense changes that getting a cheaper apartment, roommate, swapping Ubers for a bicycle or transit pass, and swapping dining out for a dinner at home, or going with your friends to a free art gallery instead of the club.
Yep. I didn't disagree with much of that. That was pretty on point. I mean, I just want one person to say pay yourself first.
Yeah.
They did say put a retirement account in there. I would actually push back on that a little bit, because if you don't have any liquidity reserves and you're building a retirement account, which you don't have access to without penalty, by the way, what's the first thing you do if you get in trouble? You take out of that retirement account. So is it should we really be focused on the thing that is hopefully going to be there in 60 years, or should we take care of today and get organized and build our financial literacy, learn how to pay ourselves and then grow that money.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's much more usable to build up front than it is to worry about the 60-year plan when you're living paycheck to paycheck.
You also have so far, like you're so far from retirement that if you were to build
you have time,
your savings and then use the money that you invest that in to put into retirement, you're just gonna.
Yeah. Now this is gonna be when. Well, have you seen the math on the compounding? If you put it in earlier, yeah. Have you ever applied it to your life and not on a spreadsheet?
No. Yeah. No, I agree. I think just like the last one, the solution here is to pay yourself first.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were right on. They hit the nail on the head when the guy we just read said, either you need to increase your income. They put that as an option. Increase your income.
I like that a lot because that's skill set. Yeah, because
if he wants to, or he or she wants to live this way, you either have to increase your income, or if you have goals and you need to put money away, you have to cut back a little bit.
There's so much potential behind just getting in the mindset of, I can double my income. And people think that's just the scariest, most unrealistic thing in the world. Like, because you can just go from $5,000 to $10,000 a month. You can.
Yeah. It's a very freeing thing when you realize, I can just make more money this month.
Yeah. How much did you make last month?
$18,000.
Yeah. See? There you go.
Oh, wait, no. Last month was 22. This month's 18.
22. Yeah. So,
yeah. But before it was like, I need to make, last year. Yeah. If I made $8,000 in a month, I was overjoyed.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
And I thought I could never make more than that.
You tripled it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a mindset and a practice and an understanding of skills.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you're watching this, you can do that. How old are they? They're 24. I'm 20. You can do that.
What's the way that you put that? If you have to gaslight yourself into believing it.
No, that's what I do. Tell the people I gaslight myself all the time.
I still don't know what gaslight means.
It means
I still don't understand it.
It means something happens and we both perceive it differently, but then you just beat into my head it happened the way that you saw it happen.
Oh.
So it's like you made a comment to me, but I perceived it as mean. But you were like, that wasn't mean. That was like criticism or whatever. It was
that was constructive
criticism. Yeah, it was constructive. Yeah. But then on a more dramatic scale. Yeah. Or if something really did happen and you're lying to me, like it did happen the way I think, but you don't want me to know that. You lie to me until I believe it. So I lie to myself.
The definition is actually getting less clear as you continue going here.
I lie to myself until I believe it.
Okay.
It's like a more fun way to say that you manifest
something. You're just brainwashing yourself into, all right.
I brainwash myself into thinking that I can make unlimited amounts of money.
Because you can.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No gaslight.
No gaslighting. Okay. Think we covered that one? Good?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
cool with that.
Last one for the day. It's a MERP _01.
It's a MERP.
Okay. 15 hours ago. Titled, I have $5,000 in debt with $5,200 in savings.
Nice.
I recently started a business and had to take on some debt in order to start it off. On a personal line of credit, I currently have $3,200 at 8.9% APR and $1,700 on a business card at 16.49%. In my savings, I have $5,200. Currently, every paycheck, I dump a considerable amount into each account to reduce them as quickly as possible, ranging from $250 to $400 a paycheck from my day job. And then as able, the occasional extra money dump I occasionally dump extra money. They worded that wrong. And that's not reliable currently. In regards to other cards I have, those are paid off in full every month, as their usage isn't all that high and it's not a huge concern for me. I usually pay $300 a month for living with a parent, so I'm fortunate in that regard. I've been trying to determine if it's worth paying off some or all that debt now with my savings. So paying the $5,000 with the $520 with my savings and then rebuilding it from whatever's left over. My biggest pause would only be maybe that I have a trip coming up soon to Las Vegas to hang out with my friends. And even that it's not for another 6 weeks. So it's still not something to worry about much. Edit. Since 2 people have mentioned it already, my trip to Vegas is something that I've been planned since last year. And something that I look forward to since then. I have zero intention of canceling it. It's not out of stubbornness or inability to not spend money. It's because I want to see my friends and enjoy their company.
I don't think you should cancel this trip.
Ask me. You're not don't cancel the trip.
Oh my gosh. Surprised you're not on a plane right now. Just nailing down this podcast schedule with your travel schedule.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's going to get bad in October because I'm gone on Mondays in October, like 3 of them. So
unbelievable.
So he rearranges his life so he can record this.
I'll just continue to work around you. Revolve around your schedule.
It is my world and you are living in it.
That's true. It's fair.
Okay.
So yeah, the Las Vegas trip is whatever. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah, keep your trip.
I
Enjoy
also
your
would
life.
not pay off the debt with your savings because there's no point in doing that.
I would agree. I would pay it off. I would make the payment so you don't pay interest, like too much interest.
So, well, we just went over the financial principles. Pay yourself first. Get debt on a plan. Understand true value. So he's actually at stage 2, or I don't know if he pays him. Well, he must pay himself. It's something. He's got $5,200. So we're just gonna say he pays himself.
Yeah.
We're gonna assume that a little bit. The get debt on a plan. That's just what he needs to do now. So, first of all, 8% and 16% is not even that bad considering his credit card stuff.
Yeah.
I know it's line of credit, but like it's basically the same thing.
You also know
depending
that
on
the
what it is.
second step isn't pay off all your debt. It's get debt on a plan.
on a
Because if
plan.
it doesn't make sense for you to pay it all off, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, in my opinion, he's actually got it on a plan. Like if he's doing 250 to 500, 250 to 400, whatever it was,
Yeah.
each time, it's getting paid down. Like, yeah, would you save some on interest if you just paid it all off? Yeah, but you would also be broke. And then the first thing that would happen is you would have to put it back on there, so you would start over,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't have any reserves. So I would rather see him keep the reserves
Yeah.
than just have a plan for paying it off. And if he wants to pay it off quicker, just get more aggressive with it.
Also, whatever money you're going to use to pay off that, if you like the difference, I would put some of that money into pay yourself first. So instead of paying, like, say you wanted to increase his payments or whatever, take that money and
Pay yourself.
Yeah, pay yourself instead of putting it on the credit card.
So if you
he's got a great plan, it sounds like.
Yeah, so if you got 10 grand in reserves and you got 4 or 5 grand in credit card debt or whatever it is, like, so what?
Yeah. Okay. So
It's not taking from you at that point.
No, it's
You
not.
know?
Yeah. This one has 109 comments, and the top one says, pay them off. As long as they're there, you're not saving anyway. Whatever you'd be putting on the cards can then go to rebuilding. And then it says in parentheses, prepare for this subreddit to blast you for going to Vegas. And he said, yeah, I made an edit regarding the Vegas trip. My thoughts, at least with the debt, I could pay off something like $4,000, have a tiny emergency fund in savings, and then throw into savings and pay off the line of credit since it's a lower APR.
I mean, if he wants to run that plan, you can run that plan. I guess if it's at your level of comfort, if you're okay with just having
if he's
$1,000
comfortable having $4,000, if you think $4,000 is like a comfortable amount.
Yeah, if you're just okay having $1,000 bucks,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't seem very usable.
No.
Because if you're already making extra payments, you can make the extra payments to yourself and just have the debt on a plan.
Yeah.
Just amortize it onto a schedule. So instead of paying, hoping that it's paid off in 2 years or whatever by making $250 payments to it.
Yeah, and
just set it up so it'll be paid off in 12 months. That way you keep your reserves and you have your plan. Like he's actually in a good enough spot. He or she, I guess we don't know.
Yeah.
That they're in a good enough spot to have options at that point. But I don't see the point in paying it off and then to that commenter's point, like, oh, you can just pay yourself back. Well, you already have it.
Yeah.
So you could just pay that off over time. It's not really going to be that much of a difference.
People
just people.
They don't like the idea of debt. It scares them.
Yeah,
And
which
I
get.
Yeah.
But if it's not on a plan,
You also have to think that this debt was to build a business. It's not necessarily like
it might have been what created the income to even pay for it.
right.
So yeah, there's a little context that we're missing there.
Yeah.
But you can just pay yourself back over time. Well, you already have the money. So why don't you just pay that over time with a plan?
That way you have the money in case you need it.
Then you already have it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm much more. Yeah, I'm more solidified in him keeping the reserves than paying it off.
Yeah. Well, what he's talking about is he has $1,700 in the business card, and that's what's at 16.5%.
Yeah.
So if he paid that off and he has $5,200, he would still have like, I don't know, do the math.
This is gonna sound crazy, but like the amount of debt is so small that like
16.5 is
it
not a big
just
deal.
does it's negligible. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not that much money in the grand scheme of things. So
Yeah.
yeah, does the interest rate suck? I mean, yeah, I guess kinda. But I mean, first of all, you say way worse, well above 20s and 30s, like when you get into credit card stuff. So him being at 15 or 16, but 16% on how much? Did he have a breakdown
it was
of how
$1,700 on the 16%.
How much?
$1,700. Yeah.
So it's so negligible. It's so
Yeah.
small. Like the usable amount of money off that's so small. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, so I've
Just put it on. Just have it on a plan. Don't
Yeah.
just make minimum payments and it takes 40 years to pay it off.
Pay
Like,
definitely way more than the minimum. But
Just-
put it on a plan that's attainable for you while you can still
Yeah.
save money.
yeah, just do a schedule. If you
Yeah.
want to pay it off in 18 months, have the 1700 divided by 18, and then make that monthly payment every month.
Yeah. Two more comments. One says, this is all bad debt and you need to pay this off ASAP. if you don't want it to balloon into something very much bigger and impossible to manage. I would put 1K into savings account as a starter emergency fund, then attack the debt with everything you have. I would wipe out the 16% APR debt first and throw everything else at the other debt.
That's someone who has gotten out of control on spending.
Yeah, that's someone who doesn't
balloon out of control. Like just because it's there, it doesn't do anything without you telling it what to do.
Debt is different for everybody.
Yeah. Then
the other comment says the trip is important to you and it's good to have something to look forward to psychologically. You should absolutely pay off the 18% debt today. Leave the little for emergencies in your trip and put the rest on a line of credit. Enjoy the trip.
So pay off the debt with a line of credit.
So
replace the debt with debt. People do that all the time. They're like, I moved it from here to here and now I'm financially successful. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, I'm out on that one. That one was either oddly worded or misunderstood.
Yeah. The last comment says, depends on the time of the spender or the type of spender you, they can't spell either.
Type of spender.
Depends on the type of spender you are. For me, I feel just a little bit better knowing that I have at least some funds in the bank rather than being debt free, even if that means you're an extra 30 to 60 in interest. 60% interest. Yes, I know peace of mind by acquiring more debt isn't ideal. But if you're fine with the $200 in your account, then go for that. I personally like the idea of using 4K now and then seeing how Vegas goes. Just be mindful that the trip. You have to be cheap and you'll definitely acquire more debt out while you're there if you don't budget it.
I like that homie's answer.
Yeah.
That homie's answer literally said, it's better to have reserves. You control the money. Make smart decisions.
Yeah, basically.
In the simplest words possible is what that comment was.
He responded to that one actually and said, I ultimately decided I'm not super comfortable having just $200 in my savings. So I did a little ground approach, paid off all $1,700 and then $2,200 of the LOC. So I just have the $1,000 left. So he actually made a decision 14 hours ago.
Nice.
He left himself with $1,000. Much easier to handle passively. And I can just dump money into savings instead of spreading. And I can still look forward to my trip too, since it's 6 weeks out. Nice. So he made a decision.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to see someone make a decision too.
Yeah.
As opposed to just kind of sit in it.
Well, some of them are so recent that like that's really impressive because he posted it 15 hours ago and he posted the response that he made a decision 14 hours ago. Oh, so in an hour he had decided what he was doing.
Yeah. That homie's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yep. I oddly like these.
Yeah. So that's all of them for today.
That's all of them for today?
Yeah.
All right.
I think definitely everybody the main thing in all of these is pay yourself first today. That's kind of been the theme, is pay yourself first.
Well, it's funny if you're this will actually be really, really useful because we'll continue to do these. Yeah. Because these are basically little financial audits. Yeah. And you get to learn how I think through these things. Yeah. Because this is exactly what I'm dealing with.
I think this is so
on a daily
useful.
Basis. Yes. This is what I deal with on a daily basis, is someone bringing me, this is what's going on and this is the situation. What do you think the next best step is? Yeah. And this is how you can best protect yourself. So like that last person, that's how I would have responded with them. And if they would have chose to pay it off, be like, great, that means you're comfortable with $1,000 in the bank and that's fine. That
very likely could have been a conversation that we had 2 years ago when I started my business. Like that could have been something that we like, these are conversations that you have.
I agree.
And so maybe people can't all bring you their exact scenarios, but to be able to hear these, I think would be really helpful, especially people who have shame around money and they're scared to bring them to you or talk about it. Hearing these situations and knowing that others are in it is super helpful.
Yeah. So people can learn like literally how we work through this on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You're starting to understand that any question around finance, a root's going to be found in one of the three principles.
Yeah, there's going to be an answer. There's no, I don't know what to tell you.
Commonly, it's going to be that they don't pay themselves first. The second one's going to be, I don't have debt on a plane. The third one's going to be the more rare one, but those are the really exciting ones because that's someone who doesn't have an income problem. Yeah. Doesn't necessarily have a debt problem, but doesn't understand how money actually works or like what true value is. Yeah. So they keep having to start over. It's really cool to see those people take off because they take off like a bolt of lightning. Yeah. Because the second they figured out true value, like their money just continues to compound really, really quickly. To your point, you can double your income, triple your income in 12 months. Yeah. Less than 12 months. Yeah. So it's cool to see those people do that. That's really what you've done, actually, because you learned how to pay yourself, build up a bank account, which is awesome.
I didn't really have debt.
Well, you didn't have a debt problem, so you had debt on a plan. You know what I mean? Your plan was don't get in a debt problem at that point. But And then when you figured out true value, which was your time, like, hey, my skill set and my time are correlating, and then everything blew up from there.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I should probably charge a little bit more because my demand is higher.
Well, you're 60 days out for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
You supply and demand here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was good. I'm definitely excited to do this again.
I actually really like this. Yeah, this was a good idea. Job well done.
Thank you. I am useful on this podcast.
Oh my gosh, everybody loves you. Stop. Everybody loves you way more than me.
Hopefully you guys weren't too annoyed by my reading. Thank you for listening to it.
You did good.
Thank you.
You did good.
It's been real.